Heyo people, welcome to my podcast Life Adventures Taught Me. I haven't been active in July since I had a lot of friends coming from abroad. We had some summer adventures that I'm gonna share about. Today's topic is life in Dominican Republic. So I will be talking about my life in Dominican Republic. It's something that I was wishing for a while. I wanted to, a few years ago, I really wanted to change my environment, and since I have been living only in European countries, student exchanges, I wanted something new. So let's begin. Why Dominican Republic? As I mentioned, I wanted something new, something different than it is in European culture. Because in these European countries that I lived, it's basically everything similar culture. There are differences, but not major differences. And every city I lived in, there is a castle, there is a river, there is a city center. So I wanted something new. Give me something new. I was like, I want some islands, I want some tropical climate, I want surfing and all of those stuff that I am not used to. My initial idea, it was to go to Mexico, to Playa del Carmen, but because of the visa issues, I was choosing another country. And then I have realized that it's really easy to go to Dominican Republic, and one of the main reasons is because I wanted to go surfing, and I planned this trip like, let's say, 2 months in advance before my flight tickets. I bought flight tickets, and then I was planning the way until the village where I actually wanted to live. So the village, Dominican village that I decided to go for, it was Cabarete. It's on the north of Dominican Republic. It's a small, I would say, touristic village where surfing and especially kite surfing is really famous and popular because of the strong winds and good beaches for surfing. The other reason, it was because of the climate, like different kind of climate, it's all the time warm. And another reason, it was the different nature. I wanted to try new different fruits, so basically everything new for me. An island life that I was wishing for since my childhood. So it finally came true. So how it went, planning to go over there from Serbia to the north of Dominican Republic to Cabarete. I was planning it for, I would say, a month or something like that. And I was checking all the flights, and I wanted to find like the cheapest possible version. And the cheapest possible version, it was to travel from Serbia to the north of Dominican Republic. It was like exactly around 4 days. Yeah, you heard it correctly, 4 days. It was really a long trip. So what I did, I took a van ride from Novi Sad, Serbia to Vienna airport. From Vienna airport I took a flight to the capital of Spain, Madrid. Then the next flight I had, it was from Madrid to Punta Cana, Dominican Republic, so the flight over the Atlantic Ocean. I was really excited about it because it was the first time for me to cross the Atlantic Ocean and to travel in general with airplanes so far. And this flight, it was around 7 hours, I would say. And what was really interesting to me, it was the height. It was like around 11,000 meters, like the height of traveling, and minus 60 degrees the temperature. So I have never seen, those kind of information in the airplane. So it was a really interesting thing for me, because I have never, I guess with flights in the Europe, we don't fly so high, and I never had those information in front of me. And then after a long sleep, of course, I took a morning bus from Punta Cana to Santo Domingo, the capital of Dominican Republic. And from Santo Domingo, I took another bus to La Vega, which is more to the north. And actually Punta Cana is located in totally opposite side of the Cabarete, and that's why it took me so long to go from one part of Dominican Republic to another one. because I was taking a bus from Punta Cana to Santo Domingo, from Santo Domingo to La Vega on the north, from La Vega to Sosua, which is on the north coast, and then from Sosua I took a taxi, which was, I don't remember, 15 minutes to the village Cabarete, and finally I came to my destination. The interesting thing about this trip was that I didn't even know where I am going exactly, because I analyzed and I planned it really good. But for example, I found an Airbnb through Facebook groups and some people wrote me, so I was not sure if they're gonna rob me over there, if I'm going to a sure place. So I was not too stressed during the trip, but I was a little bit nervous if everything is gonna go okay, because I was traveling for 4 days and I was so tired, and I really wished just to arrive to my home where I've been living for many months, and so everything is fine. So I was a little bit nervous about it. I was like, I really don't need this kind of drama now, but luckily everything went good. I have arrived there and I went firstly to a restaurant for a drink, beach restaurant, and the view to this blue turquoise greenish sea and white clouds and really light blue sky, and a lot of people doing kite surfing. It was kind of the beach that I have never seen before, and I felt really excited that this is the place where I'm gonna spend the most of my time of the day, and this is the place where I will actually live for a longer time. I mean, I could talk about all the little steps and step by step how it was going, how I was adapting the first impressions, but I think it's gonna last really too long, so I would to jump to the things that I was doing. So basically when I came, I didn't know anyone, and I was just checking on Facebook and around, asking around the tourists, meeting people. I was checking what is over there besides surfing that I already knew. So what I was doing during my life in Dominican Republic, so what were the activities? So I was surfing a lot on the beach of Encuentro, really nice place, but I gotta say that I prefer sand beach for surfing than stone beach. This is a stone beach, but it's a really nice place for surfing, and it has a really hippie vibe. I spent a lot of time there, and here I learned to surf a little bit better. First I started with the surfboard 9. It's the biggest size and easiest to surf on, where you can surf on a little waves just near the coast, and then I was changing to 8, 7, 6 point something, and that's where I reached, and it was too hard for me. I was learning by myself, and it was a little bit too much, and I remember some days was stressed that I didn't know how to surf because I couldn't manage the waves, because I needed a lot more experience, but I really had a good time. I still remember the sunrises. Usually I was going in the morning for surfing, because usually the good waves over here are in the morning, because in the afternoon start to appear and start to come winds that become stronger, and then actually the climate is better for windsurfing and for kite surfing. So in the morning it's surfing in La Playa Encuentro, on the beach Encuentro, and the windsurfing and kite surfing is better in afternoon, because winds are much stronger, and then you cannot surf with the board because the wind is crashing into the waves, and those are not good waves for surfing. So the most of the time I was surfing in the morning hours, and there were many sunrises, beautiful moments, and oh my god, now when I remember surfing and raining around you, you feel and you see all the drops in the water, and you are not in the deep water, but it seems so. It's just an amazing feeling, and every time I went to surf, every time it was different. Every day is different. It's a different sea currency, it's a different height of the waves, different power of the waves, different weather, it's cloudy or sunny. I don't know, every time I went for surfing there were different vibes, and then every day it didn't feel like the same thing doing over and over. It just felt like every day it's a new day with new vibes and new environment, new people that you see in the water. So that was really interesting, and an interesting thing that I noticed, that the water, it was every day different. It was never the same. And that's what I like, not to repeat doing the same thing over and over. This surfing felt like I was every day doing different stuff in different environment. But there is a thing that I gotta mention. I really like this place, but I would say that it was not easy to find people to hang out with. I found a couple of them, but as I felt like people, you know, they seem welcoming, but I was surprised that many surfers, there were like many really nervous people, because I had vibe in my head like before going there, and like surfers, oh, they are really chill, but it's like in every society there are nervous people, not nervous, happy people, but generally when you say about hippie people and that vibe, and they are like living life, chill, everything is fine. But I got surprised that in Encuentro people were not really, I mean, they were really nice people, but at the same time they were a lot of nervous people, stressed, and many times I could feel their energy in the water. So that's one of the things that I didn't really like, as I'm a person who feels the energy of other people really strong. I didn't really like it, but I managed it really good because I focused on people with good energy, of course. And I preferred days when there were not so many people. I wanna say nothing's that perfect. There were the mornings that instead of just like having a chill morning, feeling relaxed, surfing, there were the mornings where some people just came nervous and they just wanted to fight, and it just killed the vibe a little bit of the place. And that's something that I noticed a lot in this place. And usually I'm an extrovert person, and I don't have problems with meeting with other people, making friends, but I would say that here I had periods that it was hard for me to find my own squad. I did have, but as it is a custom like to come to Dominican Republic in winter months, and then a lot of people, they go in April, May back to their countries for summer, let's say European countries, and then they come back again in autumn. So summer it's not really popular to be there, and that's like, that happened to me, that I made my squad of friends and they actually left in April, May, and then for me it was a hard period in summer to find group of friends. Eventually I did, but I felt like in this period people are coming and going, and in places where people coming and going, it's hard to find a stable squad that you will hang out with all the time. So another thing that I was doing, it was cycling, but mostly cycling to the beach of Encuentro where I was surfing, which was 3.5 kilometers from my house, and I was going with the beach way, like big part of the way go next to the beach until you come to Encuentro. It was really beautiful. I remember I just played the music or put my headphones, or without headphones, just driving on the bike next to the seaside, having in your eyes that landscape, seeing that, it just feels fabulous, and you really feel connected to the nature. So I just gotta mention, like besides the sunrises in the surfing, there were many sunsets in surfing, but sunsets in general, that's something that I really love. I love the evening, warm evenings, summer evenings with the sunset, because the sun is not so strong, and it's like really chill vibe, and everything is so calm. And there were many sunset evenings with really nice vibes that I will share also. I will post a lot of videos, a lot of beautiful videos of beautiful nature. And one thing I gotta point out, that Dominican Republic has such a beautiful nature. That's my first impression when I got there. I was like, oh my god, but the nature is so beautiful, especially the nature next to the seaside. And once you enter the mountains, it's also beautiful, where it's only nature. The thing that I don't like about Dominican Republic is that the people are not really used to throw garbage in the trash can or where it is supposed to go. They throw a lot of garbage on the street that I could see, and that's something that I didn't like, because when you compare the beach side, which is so beautiful, and where the hotels they clean it, but once you go off the beach inside the city and the street, there is a lot of noise and garbage. Noise, it's a cultural thing, it's a thing that is really in over there, to have a motorbike and to make the sound of motorbike as loud as it can be. So many times when I was like chilling on the bike, like going alone on the road, just suddenly out of nowhere you hear like next to me, and it's really all the tranquility that I had and all the cozy nice vibes I had, it just break it with that sound. So they do it a lot with motorbikes, and that's something that I really couldn't. I adapted a bit, but at the end I can never adapt to it, because it's, I swear, it's like really loud. It's too much, too loud, and it happens so often, because since they have like motorbikes, almost each person has motorbikes, they don't like to walk too much and neither to bike, so I used to hear too much noise all the time, and it was, in many moments it was really disturbing. But yeah, I gotta mention, I'm not gonna talk only about good things, I'm gonna talk about all the things and all my honest impressions wherever I go, and from my general life experiences. I'm always gonna say how it is, like the real picture of it. I don't need to put a more beautiful touch. So another activity that I was doing there a lot, it was dancing. I went to school in Africa, dance school in cabarete, and I took many classes of salsa and bachata, and there I had like a really good squad, but unfortunately big part of the squad, as I mentioned before, they went in April and May, but those few months that I had with them, they were amazing. Every evening on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we had classes, dance classes in the evening, and dancing in Ojo, the club in Cabarete, next to the seaside. And I remember those classes, they were so interesting, seeing your friends over there, dancing with them, music, beautiful sunset at the same time, next to the beach side. What do you need more? It's like really, now when I put that picture in my head, it's really cozy place and really good vibes that I would always like to come back to it. I didn't mention on the start that actually I was in Dominican Republic from 2023 January until the end of the September, so almost 9 months in 2023, and then this week 2024 I went there at the end of January until the mid of March. So this year I also stayed there 6 weeks, so I came back to cut the winter over here, because for me the cold period it lasts too long, and I think that's something that I'm gonna do a lot. I will try always to cut the winter by escaping some warmer destination. So besides the dancing classes every Thursday and Saturday and other days, we had many Latino parties where we were practicing what we have learned during these dance classes. And learning with your friends, there is no better way than learning dance moves with your friends and having that good vibe, because then you don't feel so nervous about it. Maybe just on the start you need to break through it, but if you are a new salsa and bachata dancer, by the way, I forgot many of the steps and I will really need to start almost from, not from zero, but from the start, because I forget it really fast. But once you repeat it a few lessons, a few times, you really remember it really fast. But what I would suggest, like to new dancers, is that going to a squad like that, having your dance squad, it will make you learn faster, because you will be more chill with them, because you already know those people, and you will feel better while dancing, and you will open yourself more to it, and you will learn easier. So not to last too long, I would like to mention places that I have visited and tell a little bit about them. So the places I visited, of course, the village where I was living, Cabarete, it's near Puerto Plata, Sosua. And the next place, the place I visited this year, where I was living for a couple of weeks. It was Las Terrenas, it's on the peninsula Samana. So I visited Las Terrenas and surroundings, really beautiful place and quite different comparing to Cabarete, I would say, the nature and the mountains around. And I think those are the most touristic places in Dominican Republic, maybe Cabarete, Las Terrenas and Punta Cana, which is, I think, really famous for American, German and Canadian tourists. The other places I have visited is Rio San Juan, Nagua, El Valle. I did camping in El Valle, and you will see the video that started this episode. It will be with the drone, and it is the Playa El Valle. So I did camping over there, and all of these places, I think they are by the seaside, most of them. Then I was a few times in Punta Cana, Bávaro, Santo Domingo, of course, the capital. I visited also Santiago de Caballeros, La Vega. Then I visited San Francisco and de Macorís and the surrounding mountains, which are really, really beautiful. I visited Bonao and Jarabacoa and many mountains around and saltos. Saltos, it's in Spanish, waterfalls in English. Also, last year while I was living here in July, the month of July, I visited Colombia, but I will make separate episode about Colombia. Comparing the culture of Dominican Republic and generally people, customs and stuff, I would say they are quite different to European. And the good thing that I would point out is that they are much more connected to the nature, and I would say, eat healthier. And I would like to talk now about the food, because that's really important thing, because I tried many different stuff and it would be okay not to mention all of those new fruits, because one of the reasons why I also went to this place is because I wanted to try new tropical fruits, which was really important to me and a new thing, because for most of them I have never known before that they even existed. So let's start first with fruits. Chinola, it is the passion fruit, and I never knew it existed before, and most of the time the juices I was drinking, they were from chinola fruit. It reminds lemon, orange, it's sour, and they use the blender to make a juice, and it's really one of the most refreshing juices I have ever tried. Then there is guanabana, and it's a really huge fruit, green. From outside the taste, it's really exotic. I like the juices from it. Then fruta de dragón, or dragon fruit. I have never knew it existed before. It's pinkish. I've tried to share some of the photos of these fruits, and it's really delicious. It's really expensive, and it grows on a kind of cactus plant. So it's like really interesting fruit to try. The best is when I kept it in the fridge and cold like that, eat it with spoon. Then interesting thing, it was coconut water, because I always thought that coconut water is not jelly but not so liquid as it is, and I thought it has a color of milk, like white. I thought that coconut water is white, like a milk, but coconut milk is actually made out of the dried fruit. I guess I'm saying it right. So coconut water is like really like a water color. It's kind of sweetish, not too sweet. It's nice, but I thought it is more sweet. I was drinking a lot of that in the morning or throughout the days. Then of course mango, I would say that it is the main fruit over there, and also in Caribbean, because like here apple or plums or cherries, or I don't know what are the other fruits that we have a lot. Mango trees are on every corner. There is sapote. It doesn't have really strong taste, and usually they use it only in batidos are the milkshakes. Batidas in Dominican Republic, they call it this way, and they made a lot of sapote batidas. It's much nicer in batida than like to try it, to eat it raw like this. There is guava or guayaba. It's kind of pear, but inside is reddish, and it has a taste between pear and strawberry. Then there is of course avocado, and they also have cocoa fruit, and I have never tried it before and I never knew how they actually make it. I guess cocoa is just a fruit and cacao it's like the powder they make out of it. I don't know in English, but it was an interesting thing when I was walking with my friends through forests, through areas that not a lot of Dominican are walking through. So I was meeting the nature and I saw the trees of oranges and cocoa, and I was like so surprised when we found the cocoa fruit. And we took it from the tree. It's orange, and inside it has semillas, the seeds, and around seeds there is like little white bubbles that you can suck, and they're like kind of sweetish. So, and there is like exact process how they make cacao, like the powder of cocoa fruit, but I didn't really remember it. But they definitely need to dry the fruit first. So over there is limon, the lemon they call it. I don't know if it's lime or lemon, but I would say it's lemon, comparing to this one that we usually have in Europe, now bigger than before, yellow and not so sour. Over there what they call lemon is smaller, much more sour and stronger, and it's spicy sour. I remember a few times when I tried to squeeze the lemons for juice, and they are really strong, like much stronger than the lemons we have in Europe. There are sea grapes, and I have seen them, and I saw so many plants of the sea grapes. I don't really remember the taste, and they come in a certain month of the year, and it's an interesting thing. Like it's totally different than the grapes usually that we are used to make the wine from. It's totally different, but it's called sea grapes because it has similar shape. There is of course sandia, the watermelon, and melons, and papaya. There is papaya. I liked it in batidas a lot. And one thing that I would point out, besides the other fruit that I'm gonna mention later, are natural fruit juices and also batidas. They are really delicious. And there is of course a lot of coconut, pineapple. I have never seen pineapple bush before. It grows like bushes, and then in the middle of the bush there is like a little flower that grows one pineapple, and you just take it from there. This plant, aloe vera, and similar like that, like a bush, it has needles, it has spikes. Another interesting fruit that I tried, so I'm just mentioning the fruits that I have tried. Carambola, there is another way similar to chichi something in Spanish, in the Dominican Republic how they call it, but carambola, it's kind of sour when you try it. It reminds me of vegetable paprika, but sweet and sour inside. And it grows on the tree, I guess. And usually it's a yellow color. Also breadfruit. There was like a birthday of one friend, he was celebrating on the beach. They made big bonfire, and inside they put some big wooden balls inside, and I was like, what is that? And actually they told me it's a breadfruit. It's a big fruit. You put it in the fire or where it's really warm. You leave it there for some time, and then when he opened it, it was really warm. But when I tried it, it reminded us of bread and potato, kind of the taste, and it's interesting, and I really appreciated that I tried even this fruit because I never saw it before, only that evening, and it was interesting that it really tastes like a bread potato thing, and it's really huge. Interesting anecdote that actually all these fruits were delicious, but after some time I was craving for the fruits from here because I really got used to it. So it's really interesting how when you are small and throughout your life you get used to some stuff, and then in the future you crave more for them. You need them more than the new ones that you tried. Of course, like dragon fruit and other fruits that I really like, I can eat them like daily, but I would say that at the end I still prefer to eat the fruits that I was used to before from my childhood. And of course they have banana over there, they call it guineo, but here we call in Serbia and in Europe we call big banana, we go platanius, I don't know what is the name, but we hear platan. And what they call platano verde, platan green, in Dominican Republic, in these countries over there, is like different fruit. It's not like banana, and they use it and it's not mature. They peel it. It looks like a green banana, big green banana. They peel it while it's green, and then they cook it, and the taste is the same as potato. I was so surprised that actually for me banana can have the same taste as potato when it's cooked. Also green bananas, if you cook them, and green platans, both of them will taste like potato, but only if you cook them green. My favorite dish that my friend used to make me a lot, and I tried it in many places, is fritos y salami frito. They fry the salami that they have over there. It goes in a combination with fritos. I have seen that in many places they call them tostones, but when I was there I heard only fritos. So fritos are made out of green platan. So what do is that you cut them, you peel them, you cut them in small pieces, you fry them a little bit, like in small circles. After that, when they are fried from both sides, these pieces that you cut, you smash them with something so they look splashed, and then you fry them again. And you just put a lot of salt, and those are fritos. It's easy to make. It's like fried potatoes, similar but even better because it's crunchy. I love it. That's my favorite thing from there. And other things made out of green platan are mofongo. Mofongo usually has some meat in the middle in this dish. You can find also chicharron, it depends what type of meat you put there. Chicharron is like similar to Serbian čvarci. It's like the fat of pig cooked for a long time. And another thing made out of platano verde, green platan, is mango. It's like puree, usually served with onion, fritos and fried salami. Another typical dish from here is sancocho. Usually they cook it with 7 types of meat for a long time. Rice is of course present everywhere. Another thing, yarroa, it's like French fries with cheese, ketchup and mayonnaise and meat above. One of the typical dishes from here is arroz con habichuelas. It's right with beans. And something that I noticed here, they eat a lot of chicken. As in Serbia, north part where I live, we eat a lot of pork. In Dominican Republic they eat chicken like crazy. So this is where I would like to finish today's episode, and to conclude general impressions about Dominican Republic. I would say the life in Dominican Republic is really beautiful. Comparing to European, American and other developed countries, culture and people, I feel people are a lot more free. There is a lot more freedom. People are much more connected to the nature. They eat more things from the nature. So as they are connected more to the nature, they eat much healthier. But I would say it's missing a little bit of some rules. For example, especially for garbage, because I think they need to bring that awareness between people about how important it is to preserve your surrounding and the nature around it and respect it. So I think they should put some rules for that in order to preserve this beautiful nature and surroundings they have. So this is another dream that came true for me in my 20s, and it opened a whole new door in my life, new point of view to different stuff. Here I didn't talk about how I met myself more. I went into deeper connection with myself. I opened many new doors and I learned so many new things that I didn't even know they exist, that I will talk about it more in other episodes with different topics. But I feel like I opened the door getting closer to the God, to the universe, to the energy and intelligence that surround us. Had many crazy, interesting talks, conversations with people, different people that I met with same mentality of mine and same mindset. So this is also a place where I learned for the first time about manifestation. All my life I was like, I was thinking like that's nothing serious, but now I truly, after many different experiences in Dominican Republic that I will talk about, I became much more open-minded. Before I was open-minded, but I spread my point of view. I have learned about new things such as I mentioned, manifestation, law of attraction, and I implemented that in my life and it brought me so many good things. I learned also to set the boundaries in every aspect of my life, which is really important, and I feel like this year, especially 2023, that I was living there, it was for the first time that I really went not to have the influence of the university, of my friends, of my parents, of my old culture too much. Like I was cut off all the influences, and there I could clearly think straight from my brain without too much distraction from my old life. I was like in a new life and open to everything, and when you are open like that without other distractions around you and other influences of other people, that's where you can learn the best and find out about many other things, because you put less resistance in learning about new things, and you put less resistance in accepting new things and implementing them in your life, which are really good for you. I'm gonna mention which are the things I learned about. Those are the law of attraction, became much more spiritual, got closer to the God, energy, intelligence, and universe, or however you want to call it. And through law of attraction I learned much more about manifestation, and I'm still learning a lot about it, and I think I will take this podcast also towards that direction about manifestation, law of attraction, and talk more about my experiences, which are, let's say, more serious experiences than just travels and other stories I mentioned before. Thank you for listening to my podcast. I hope you enjoyed in today's episode and that it motivated you to go after the things you want, to achieve your dreams, to maybe travel to Dominican Republic. I definitely recommend it. If you would like to hear more from me and get my vibes more often, you can subscribe and follow me on my social media. I will leave the links below, and let's see where the next episode will take us to. Talk to you soon. Ciao, ciao.